Yeah.
Good morning, my wonderful sisters and brothers. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I presented a video earlier this morning. I was mentioning that I was awakened by a thought about how beautiful this society could be. And I got up and I recorded a challenge to the human race about accepting one another for the graces of goodness and life. Then I went to the store right fast to pick up a breakfast from Perkins for the family. And as I was going, the spirit of truth that always walks with me, and that suggests why I present so many videos to you that you very seldom watch. But it was apparent that there was another message that was very essential, and I want to share that with you. I was thinking about Donald Trump and what Donald Trump represents. Now, there are those of you who are in America and you are waiting to see if Donald Trump is going to do something good for the people. And I just want to tell you that Donald Trump is not going to do anything good for the people. Did you forget? Donald Trump was elected as the lesser of two evils. He was made president as the lesser of two evils. And by becoming president as a lesser of two evils, he became the most evil of all. So there's nothing good that Donald Trump can do for anyone or country that he's representing, because Donald Trump represents evil. Now you see how he's siding with all of those different vices that most of you call evil. You see how he's jumping on your friends and calling his friends the dictators, the people who have reputations for killing people and starving people and hurting people and imprisoning people. He's calling those his buddies. Now, you see how he shakes hands with them and is smiling with them. Now, Donald Trump knows how these people are. He has evidence of how they really are. But they don't have as much evidence on Donald Trump. So what is really happening in Donald Trump's mind is taking over all of them, because they don't know him. When he was shaking hands with Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is, you saw how he was trying to shake his hands. Don't you see the connery in it? That's nothing but a con game. Donald Trump thinks he's going to outsmart this dictator. Not only does he think he's going to outsmart that dictator, he thinks he's going to outsmart Putin. And he's going to outsmart all of the dictators that he associates himself with. That's his plan, to become the leader of all the evil people, of all that is evil, not just in this country, but all that is evil in the world. That's his plan. And you see how the Republican Party, not all of them, but many of them are just going along with Donald Trump. They can't help it. That's who and what they are. Here's the big problem, the big mystery, is the Democrats. The Democrats act like they're just waiting for him to bring the nation down, and they are hoping that at the next election that people will choose them, because now their party will support them, and the people who supported Trump, who really aren't that evil, are going to come back and put them in office. But the truth of the matter is, when at the last election, you didn't just have Trump representing evil, you didn't just have the Republican Party representing evil, you had the Democratic Party also representing evil. It was understood that he was the lesser of two evils, which meant that the Democrats, Miss Clinton, was the other evil. And to Donald Trump's people, she was the greatest of the evils. So evil was there, and people were out supporting evil for the Democrats just as well. So all the American people had before them at that time was evil. Now my son stands with the Republicans. As evil as they might be, he's just so disgusted with the Democratic Party, who's supposed to represent something that they aren't. And the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, it's legit. The Democratic Party is evil. It is just as evil as the Republican Party was. It's not as evil as the Republican Party is now. Here's the problem. The Democratic Party is not offering anything. Ever since Trump has been in office, the only thing they have basically been doing is see how he is. We told you he was like that. That doesn't make any sense. We would do it like this. They haven't offered anything. And I've been sitting back. I'm not a Democrat. I used to be a Democrat until I learned about how to be better than Republicans and Democrats. And I haven't been that way since. And I've been offering to the people this better way. And for some strange reason, the system is set up so if you got money, you can be heard. You know how to say money talks and BS walks. Well, without money, everything I say is just like BS. But I'm taking a step of faith, and I'm going to say to the Democrats, Donald Trump is growing. He's not failing, because he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. If it means get rid of everybody, black people and poor people, anything that's not lily white, that's his aim. And there are people in this country that love that. They are just haters. And now, don't get on their backs. They weren't born haters. They have been taught to be haters. So, you, the Democrats, what would you counter Donald Trump with? Just going back with your friends? Just getting angrier with Putin or North Korea, trying to put things back in place like that? That is not good enough. The people deserve better than that. They hoped that Trump would be that, but he is not that. Trump will take us down to the pit of hell, and not just America. Trump will take the world down to the pit of hell, trying to be boss, trying to be God. But he can't be God because his heart ain't there. The only thing he can be is the devil. So I challenge the Democrats. I cannot run as a Democrat because you're not smart enough. You're not kind enough. You're not loving enough. But since Donald Trump represents evil, and he can do no good for the human population, cannot do it, and you standing on the foundation, no principles of the Democratic Party, you cannot do it. You cannot even sway the support that Donald Trump has had. And so I say to you, since Donald Trump represents evil, and when we think of evil, we think about Satan. When we think of Satan, we think about the devil. So to say that Donald Trump represents evil is to say that Donald Trump represents the devil. Now, how can you, Democrats, defeat the devil? You can't. But one way, and that is if you represent God. So I'm saying to you, Democrats, you have to, if you want to get anywhere, if you care about the people, if you care about yourselves, your family, this nation, if you care about the world, in order to defeat the devil, you're going to have to lift up and represent God. You're going to have to lift up God. Now, I know you don't know how to do that. Representing God has never been part of your DNA since you came into the world. But let me give you a little advice. To represent God, you have to change the direction. Not just the momentum, you got to change the direction. You got to do what you always claimed you were doing but never did. You're going to have to represent God. Now, when you say represent God, that means representing all the people. In other words, whatever you project, whatever you seek after, got to benefit all the people. That includes those people who are supporting Trump. Your plans, your dreams, your policies have to represent even those who represent and support the devil. If you try to walk aside, leaving the devil out, then you become the devil. You become the devil's sidestep, as some people might call him, right-hand man, because you're going nowhere. So what does it mean when I say represent God, representing all the people? It means your policy must come from a heart, a state that says, every human being on the earth is as wonderful and as beautiful as I am. I want peace. So does everybody on the face of the earth, even Donald Trump's folks. I want prosperity. So does everybody else on the face of the earth, even Donald Trump's folks. I want happiness. So does everyone else on the face of the earth, even Donald Trump's folks. I want my dreams to come true. So does everybody else on the face of the earth, including Donald Trump's folks. How can I do that? How can I get there? Well, recognize, listen to me, Democrats, that everything that is in existence comes from God. Even those things that man has put his hand to, that has been a manifestation by the hands of man, even that comes from God. Because man himself comes from God. Man's ability to do what man does comes from God. The intelligence that is directed from God. The gifts of how to extract from the resources that have been given comes from God. And the only thing that distracts that is what it is used for. It could be used for good or it could be used for evil. In the past, it has been used for evil. It has been, even though there were some good things happening, in the past it has been used for evil. That is what brought us to this point here today. Let us not deceive ourselves. We are in this position here today in America and in the world because the champion of life up to this point has been death, has been evil. So don't stroke yourself and say you were good. You played right into what is happening today. And if you want to get out of this, there's only one way. It's not the Democratic way. It's not my way. It's not your way. It's God's way. Now, if you can't glorify God, you, my friends, are losers. Now, I know many of you will say, what God? I'm talking about the God that I just got through describing. I'm not talking about a Protestant God, a Catholic God, a Methodist God, a Baptist God. I'm talking about God that pushes all that other stuff into the garbage and stands up and say that every human being on the face of the earth deserves shelter. And with the resources that have been given, they can have the kind of shelter they desire. From a mansion to a cave. They should, every last one of them, have before them education if they need it, unlimited and unrestricted. They should have health care from the womb to the tomb, the best that humanity can produce. They should have, in order for all of these things to be met, according to the principles of love, according to the principles of the blue plan of life, every last one of them should have a career, but a career of their own choosing, a career not geared by you or you or you, but what is in their hearts. It was designed that what is in their hearts for a career plays a part, a major part. Got to. It's an essential part in the finished product that it was designed from the beginning. Without that, something is missing out of that puzzle. So it requires their own individual gifts, their own individual desires, their own choice. And you say, how could you do that? I want to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. The motivation force must be having access to that and recognizing that everything that you do plays a part in the benefit of meeting the needs of the human race. Just like you love your wife, you love your husband, you love your mother, you love your father, you love your children. It's the same basic principles. That's God. It's the same basic principles. That's God. And when you're exercising from that vantage point, every knee would want to bow to thank God for what has changed us off that path of Satan. Every knee would want to get up and proclaim victory in the name of love. So recognizing that in order to be successful in this, doing unto others as you want others to do unto you, once you recognize that, you will also recognize that there is a tool that is used by the devil, has always been used by the devil. It's a trap. It's a bait. It's taking your mind and your heart off of doing things for one another to being selfish, doing things for yourself. And that bait that they hang before you is called money. Let me explain. Doing unto others as you have done unto you would meet all your needs. Selfishness says you don't have to worry about that. Meet your own needs. Care about yourself. That's why you come away from the pool. You come away from the school. You come away to a point where you see like a fish. Look up and see a bite. So he comes up and he grabs that bite. Not knowing that in that bite, in that bait is a hook. So when you get hooked, you get snatched out and you're used for whatever that fisherman is looking for. Usually a good meal at your expense. So that's what money is used for. Whoever gets the money. And so that money is dangling before the whole world. And there is a big piece of money for certain careers. Careers that distract people. Careers that take away from the life of people and benefits the devil and benefits that fisherman. They get the $100 million contracts when the teachers get $40,000. They get the $1 million contracts when other people are working for minimum wage. These devils swing this bait so far from you and what you receive until even those preachers, the men of God, forget God and start thinking about themselves and lie to the people, deceive the people just like Trump has done, and they are giving them their tithes and offerings and going crazy thinking that blessing this preacher is going to bless them, and they are still in poverty and the world is going straight to hell. So I'm saying to you Democrats, if you care, if you want to pull off that banner of evil that you have been marked with, it's been written all over you, the lesser of two evils, and you are the lesser of two evils because you lost. Didn't take away your evilness, you're still evil. You lost, but you're still evil. You're just not the devil yet, but you're the devil's kinfolk. So I'm saying to you, I'm telling you, there's one way out. And everybody of you who are listening to me, whether you're the Green Party, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, there's one way out of this hell, and that's to glorify God. I'm telling you one more time. There's only one way out of this hell, and that's to glorify God. And look at this world as us and what we can do. Or you're losing. Now, somebody say, well, since you know this, why don't you become a Democrat? Since the Democrat has nothing to offer. Because I'm a child of God. I've been chosen by the spirit of life. Now, if the Democrats want to walk with the spirit of life, they can do that. You don't have to vote for a Democrat. Why don't you vote for what's good? Why don't you vote for what's right? Why don't you vote for what works? And what works? God. And somebody said, well, why hasn't God done anything up to this point? God has done everything that God is supposed to do. God put the rest in our hands. The rest in our hands. The devil hasn't done anything. The devil has put it out there. And people have grabbed onto it and taken us to hell. Now, you stop sitting on your butt expecting God to come down and do this for you. If God is going to do it for you, then the Spirit of God will be injected into you, will be imbued into you, and that Spirit would grow. That Spirit will become alive, and you will become a physical expression of what God truly is. That's how you become a son of God. That's how you become a child of God, because of the goodness and the kindness and the love that is in you that is being manifested, and not even death itself will kill it. Because with death, it only rises again, whether in others or whether you go to a better place that God has prepared for people such as you. Now, I think I've said enough. I don't have to explain it any further than this. If you got any kind of soul in you, if you got any kind of goodness in you, you will grow with this. Now, Democrats, this message has been directed to you. but it's directed to all people. In America, don't expect anything good from Donald Trump. Donald Trump cannot do anything good. Donald Trump was the lesser of two evils that has turned into the biggest evil in this country, the biggest evil that this country has ever had. So don't think. You can stop talking about you guys on social media. You can stop talking about the evilness of Donald Trump. You can stop talking about what Donald Trump has done over there. You're doing nothing but praising him. You're doing nothing but putting nutrients to cause Donald Trump to grow. What you need to do is start talking about what is essential for peace. Start talking about what is essential for prosperity for all. You should start talking about happiness for all. You should start talking about dreams coming true. Spend your time talking about that. Spend your time talking about what God would do. Spend your time talking about what God is doing in us today. While Donald Trump is trying to tear the world down, talk about what God is doing to build the world up. And in order for that to happen, somebody got to be out here trying to build the world up. We just can't be looking at Trump complaining. As long as we look at Trump complaining, Trump is winning. So, what this guy on Channel 4, I can't even think of his name, late at night. Channel 5, late at night. The other media, what they call it, left-wing media, whatever you want to call it. You sitting up there pointing out Donald Trump's problems, trying to identify his problems. But you're not saying one thing about the alternative. Not one thing. And you think Trump is losing? He's winning every time you open your mouth. Because you're talking about the wrong things. Talk about life. Talk about the beauty of life. Talk about how to get there. Talk about the steps that's being made to get there. Draw people into what you're doing and away from what Trump is doing. You can't get that, my friends, then you've already lost. Thank you once again. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Say bye-bye. 22 minutes.